हेलो एवरीवन। सबसे पहले मैं वेलकम करना चाहूंगा अरुण सर का। ही इज म्यूचुअल फंड मैनेजर एट निप्पॉन एसेट मैनेजमेंट एंड हैविंग एन एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ मोर देन 25 इयर्स। सबसे पहले अरुण सर, आपकी इन्वेस्ट आज फॉर कल की फैमिली में स्वागत है और वेलकम है सर।
Thank you, Anandji. Thanks for hosting me in this show, and happy to meet with your investors as well through your channel.
अरे इट्स ऑल आवर प्लेजर सर। इससे पहले कि हम आज का डिस्कशन स्टार्ट करें, मैं आपको थोड़ा सा बैकग्राउंड देना चाहता हूं कि आज हम डिटेल में डिस्कस क्या करने वाले हैं। ये आपके लिए वन ऑफ द मोस्ट ब्यूटीफुल कन्वर्सेशन होने वाली है, जो आपको काफी हेल्प आएगी आने वाले समय में। समझने की कोशिश करते हैं इस कन्वर्सेशन के पीछे का बैकग्राउंड। रिसेंटली एक टैक्टिकल म्यूचुअल फंड का कॉल आया था आप ही के चैनल इन्वेस्ट आज फॉर कल पे, जिसका लिंक आपको ऊपर आई बटन में मिल जाएगा। जब वो टेक्निकल म्यूचुअल फंड का कॉल आया था, वहां पे हमारा डिस्कशन हुआ था अबाउट जापान फंड और जापान की इकोनॉमी के बारे में। Somehow अरुण सर ने वो वीडियो देखा एंड ही मैसेज मी कि आनंद, आई आल्सो हैव सम इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट मैं आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहता हूं, जो आप अपने व्यूअर्स के साथ खुद शेयर कर सकते हो। जब मैं अरुण सर के साथ कन्वर्सेशन कर रहा था, आई रियलाइज्ड कि इंस्टेड ऑफ मी टेलिंग यू गाइज ऑल दीज पॉइंट्स, अगर अरुण सर खुद बताएंगे तो इट विल बी लाइक जिनके पॉइंट्स है वो खुद आपके साथ कन्वे कर रहे। सम ऑफ द मोस्ट ब्यूटीफुल पॉइंट्स मुझे इतने इंटरेस्टिंग लगे कि यार ये पॉइंट्स मैं अपने पास तक नहीं सभी के पास बताना चाहूंगा। तो यहीं से अरुण सर हमारी कन्वर्सेशन स्टार्ट करते हैं। क्या है सर आपकी जापान की इकोनॉमी पे व्यू, थीम और आपका आउटलुक क्या है सर?
Anand, Japan, both economy and market, you can divide it into two parts. From 1989 to late 2012, and from 2013 till whatever is happening now. And there is a reason why I'm saying this. 1989, Japan economy and markets peaked out. I'm not getting into the history, geography of that part. And for a very long time, since then, their economic growth, nominal GDP growth, everything, most part was negative. Stock market returns also were very, very disappointing. And we're talking about a very long time, right? From 89 till, almost 2012, right? Now, 2012, late 2012, the then Prime Minister, Mr. Shinzo Abe, in his second term, he started, making certain economic policies. So that was nicknamed as Abenomics, like economics, Abenomics. So that involved taking several measures, like increasing money supply in Japanese economy, increasing government spending, taking up a lot of economic reforms with a view to make Japanese economy very competitive. And with hindsight, this has worked out beautifully. In fact, after that, for most periods, economic growth was very, very strong. In fact, nominal GDP from being negative, it started becoming quite on the positive territory. And stock market returns also started picking up beautifully after that. In fact, since Abenomics, the stock market returns, Japanese stock market returns, when compared to bonds, Japanese government bonds, they call it JGB, has given 130% higher return during this period, which was not the case earlier. In fact, the prior period was the opposite, where stocks kept on underperforming, bonds performed. So that was a big shift. And the current Prime Minister, Mr. Sugo, is continuing with the reform measures that Mr. Abe had, set forth. And Japan is kind of continuing on its path of economic growth since then. So that's been the interesting shift that we have seen.
सर, इसमें आने वाले समय में क्या एक्सपेक्टेशंस है और क्या मेजर पॉइंटर्स हो सकते हैं जो इंपॉर्टेंट हो सकते हैं?
So from a market perspective, Japan, especially now, looks particularly interesting. Japan is regarded as relatively a value market, right? There may be a lot of reasons. I'll tell you some numbers here. The price to book of Japanese market is something like 1.4. Just to give you a context, US, for example, the same number, price to book will be as high as 4.3, 4.4. Right? There are multiple reasons, like US, for example, is tech dominated, right? Which are all high PE, growth oriented stocks. So naturally, it's a growth kind of market. Whereas Japan is far more diversified by nature. You have lots of banks, financials, and other diversified sector. Plus, of course, it's not very high growth. ROEs also are not very, very high. And therefore, some bit of this lower valuation could be, justified. But the fact of the matter is, it's relatively more value when compared to many other developed markets. why is this important at this point in time? Is that and you would know your users, your readers would know this, that of late last 6 months or so, the risk appetite has come back very, very strongly into the market, particularly after the US election, vaccination started coming. There is a lot of interest towards a value vis-a-vis growth as a theme, both globally as well as even in India. That's very, very visible. So people at some point in time, they were very worried, they were very concerned, and therefore they were going after growth stocks, meaning regardless of whatever is the PE, you go and buy that, right? Because there is a visibility of earnings, consistent earnings or whatever. Then whether the PE is 60, 70, 80, go and buy that because you are not confident about the other part of the market. But now what is happening is that it is becoming broad-based, and this rotation away from growth to value is very clearly visible. And from that context, Japan being relatively a value market is kind of standing out. And some of the other interesting factors, for example, dividend yield or dividend payout ratio, as in the dividend that all the companies pay out as a percentage of net income, is as high as 40% in Japan. And if you add buyback also, that number, the total income actually comes to something like 50%. So that's again, one of the highest in the world. So for this reason, a lot of experts are quite optimistic about Japan and relatively more positive about Japan than many other markets. That's also something very interesting.
अरुण सर, यहाँ पे जैसे इंडिया का भी अभी पीबी रेशियो 4 के ऊपर ही है, जैसा कि आप और हम सब जानते हैं. सो यहाँ से हमें एक डाइवर्सिफिकेशन भी मिलेगा. ये तो एक पॉजिटिव पॉइंट हो गया, बट साथ ही साथ एक थोड़ा सा नेगेटिव या एक ऐसा पॉइंट भी आता है जो हमें ध्यान रखना चाहिए. वो ये कि चाहे वो वैल्यू थीम इंडिया में हो, चाहे वो आउटसाइड इंडिया में भी जापान मार्केट हो, वहां पे रिस्क भी रहते हैं एज कंपेयर टू ग्रोथ. उसके बारे में आपका क्या कहना है? मतलब हम रिटर्न्स की या पॉजिटिविटी की बात कर ले विदाउट नोइंग द रिस्क, तो वो भी कंप्लीट नहीं हो पाएगा.
No, any equity investment, regardless of the setting of the market, regardless of which team is playing out, that comes along with risk, so that cannot be wished away. It has to be seen in the relative context. So obviously, you said rightly that, see, if you're talking about Indian markets, Indian market itself is an emerging market, right? Whereas Japan, all said and done, it's a developed market. So you get a different flavor of investment. Correlations are different. That's where you get the diversification benefit. And another dimension to this is India can be regarded as a growth market. So we have very high GDP. That's why stock markets also are P, PB, P, everything is on a different territory altogether. Japan, it will. It kind of responds to various other factors. And relatively, as I explained to you, being a value market, that also brings in an additional different dimension to your investment, helping you diversify. But while diversification is a clear benefit, and there can be other return possibilities, risk for any equity investment will be there. So that needs to be kept in mind at all points in time. So we cannot push away risk in equity investment in any market. So Japan is no exception.
एब्सोल्युटली सर, और स्पेशली जब जापान इंडिया से बाहर है तो एक आउटसाइड इकोनॉमी में इन्वेस्ट करने की एक अलग ही रिस्क होती है जो हमें समझना चाहिए बिफोर वी स्टार्ट और वी इवन थिंक ऑफ मेकिंग एन इन्वेस्टमेंट फॉर दैट मैटर. सर, इसमें नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन आता है करेंसी से रिलेटेड. करेंसी के रिलेटेड आपका क्या पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है यहाँ से, और क्या आपका टेक है?
सर, see, currency also can be very, very volatile, just like any other asset class like equity. So near term currency ka predict karna, it's very, very difficult, right? But theoretically speaking, and that's what all of us learn in our management schools, that you have a developed economy, you have an emerging economy like India. There is interest rate differential, there is yield differential, right? So this is what results in the currency depreciating. So fundamentally speaking, emerging market currency like INR should depreciate to the extent of interest rate differential over periods of time. Right? So fundamentally speaking, you can expect INR to depreciate, right, against the US dollar or Japanese yen, right, which may play out in the longer term. But in near term, there can be movements. So I'm not commenting on that. So fundamentally, given the interest rate differentials and where yield levels are, you can expect about 4 to 5% appreciation per annum of Japanese yen over INR over a longer period of time. In fact, in the last 3 years, for example, the Japanese yen has appreciated against the INR by almost 12%. So when you are making investments into Japanese stocks or through a mutual fund into Japanese stocks, the currency, in this case, Japanese yen appreciating also will add to your returns. So that is also an added advantage, or I would say another element of risk and return when it comes to investing into foreign stocks and foreign mutual funds.
सर जस्ट टू
So in this,
सिंप्लीफाई, अगर मैं किसी कंट्री में इन्वेस्ट कर रहा हूं, चाहे वो यूएस हो चाहे जापान हो, अगर उस कंट्री की करेंसी स्ट्रेंथन होगी तो मुझे बीइंग एन इन्वेस्टर फायदा होगा, अगर वो वीकन होगी तो मुझे लॉस होगा इफ आई एम इन्वेस्टिंग इन दैट इकोनॉमी, राइट सर?
100%, 100%. So which is why if you have liability in US, like for example, if you want to send your son to US for education, right? It makes a lot of sense to invest into US assets and not save only in Indian assets. And finally, when you convert that into dollar, that is a big impact. So that is when you do that asset allocation, those benefits, so you plan for a goal and then you make investments accordingly. So Japan also, like you invest if the Japanese currency appreciates, like last 3 years, of course, it was appreciated by 12%. And fundamentally speaking, 4-5% per annum, if that happens, right? That's theoretical. If that happens on an average, that will also add to your stock market returns. So that's how it works.
Perfect, sir. Sir, any other point related to Japanese theme and Japanese economy जो आप put up करना चाहेंगे?
Couple of things. One, the Bank of Japan is a very, they keep buying Japanese stocks. In fact, from 2016 till now, they've bought nearly 30 trillion yen. That is on an average nearly 50 billion US dollars per year. Right. So this also supports the market, like the way our own EPFO buys through ETFs, right? And stock markets, they keep buying. So of late they're buying nearly 6 trillion yen per year of late. So that also helps support stock market. So that part is very strong. FPI flows in Japan tends to be mixed. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. The domestic institutional investors, because I started my discussion for a very long time, Japan did not do well. So they are a little wary about investing into stock markets, right? However, of late, 7-8 years, markets are kind of turning around. Now, particularly globally, since yields are going up, right? So they may also, at some point in time, possibly incrementally shift away from their bond investing into equity. If that happens, it will be a big positive, which will support, in addition to Bank of Japan and FPI flows, that part also can come in handy. And the last part is the Japanese individual investors, right? Especially the youngsters who, are now coming into, like 25, 30. So they have not experienced the extreme negative returns of the past. So that is clearly getting behind. And these young Japanese investors are now, feeling optimistic. In fact, the number of demat accounts in Japan last year, it was nearly, 27 lakhs. It was a historic high. So there is a lot of interest. So that also can incrementally going forward, kind of come in. So this was something that I thought, investors should know about the different types of investors, having interest in the market. The last point, sir, Japanese corporates, right? So Japanese companies, obviously they are global. In your video also, you had mentioned about, some of the companies. So they don't depend only on Japanese. Japan is all said and done a small country, right? So they have global presence in terms of exporting to global presence, as well as being present in different countries and having translation gains. So these are, world-class companies. And Japan also, they've been doing a lot of corporate restructuring. They implemented corporate governance code, stewardship code. So there is a lot of emphasis on these things. So I talked about Abenomics. So one of the things that was done in Abenomics also is to take up, these kind of corporate reforms. So which also, so there's a lot of emphasis on, for example, ESG as what they do on a day-to-day basis as part of their business. So global world-class companies, highly competitive. In fact, Japan as an overall economy also scores very high on reforms, regulation, taxation regime, and stuff like that. So I think all these things augment well broadly. So that's also another positive as far as Japan is concerned.
एब्सोल्युटली सर, एब्सोल्युटली सर. सर, इससे पहले कि हम टुवर्ड्स द फाइनल क्वेश्चन जाए, एक इंपॉर्टेंट डिस्क्लेमर है फॉर ऑल द व्यूअर्स. यहाँ पे बेसिकली क्या हुआ था, हमारी पर्सनल कन्वर्सेशन चल रही थी एंड आई थॉट इट इज यूजफुल फॉर एवरीवन, इसीलिए हमने इसका एक वीडियो बनाया और आप सभी के सामने प्रेजेंट किया. ये कोई भी पुश नहीं है, कोई भी इन्वेस्टमेंट एडवाइस नहीं है. प्लीज अपने खुद की रिस्क एपेटाइट को देखते हुए, सूटेबिलिटी को देखते हुए इन्वेस्टमेंट करना कंपलसरी हो जाता है. सर, लास्ट क्वेश्चन ये आता है, क्योंकि ये बाहर की इकोनॉमी हो रही है, तो इसमें क्या हमें लमसम करना भी ओके रहता है ऐसी इकोनॉमी में जहां पे हमें थोड़ा कम पता है, या फिर एसआईपी इज अ बेटर मोड बेटर क्या होता है सर इसके लिए? Just in case if some investor is wanting to use it.
Okay. So I would, but this is not only pertaining to only Japan or India. So even for India, people have this question: should I invest lump sum and SIP? My response generally is standard, saying if you have a very long term, the right term, like 3 years, 5 years, which is the appropriate time, if not longer, for equity investment, as long as you're there, you go and invest lump sum, right? Why am I saying this? This is not because today Indian markets are at 50,000, Japan it's like this, and therefore lump sum, therefore not lump sum. It is for a simple fact that equity investments, the returns generally tend to be lumpy. So suppose if I say that over a period of 3 years, for example, I'm not indicating any return or anything. For example, let's say over 3 years, you will get, let's say, 50% absolute return. Sometimes how it can happen, you may get all your return in the first year. You may not get anything in the second year or third year, or vice versa. Sometimes, you may get in the first year could be good, second year may be moderate, third year could be very bad. Now, if you do not make lump sum, right? So you have 100 rupees, you do not make lump sum, you spread it out over 3 years. Let's say 30% comes in the first year, 30% like that, right? And, the entire return is front-ended and comes in the first year, right? You miss out. Instead of being 100 rupees and 100 becoming 150, you have invested only 1/3, and that 1/3 is what is going to give you. So first and foremost is, if you're reasonably confident, and your time horizons are appropriate, you have the right risk appetite, go for lump sum, right? Regardless of market conditions. That's how I would view it. That's number one. SIP, regardless of market conditions, suppose I'm a salaried employee. So I earn 50,000 per month after my expenses, I'm able to save 5,000, 10,000. So that becomes a mode of investments. So here I'm not taking a view of the market. So I'm able to save 5,000 every month. So I keep on investing this and invest into a fund for the long term, for the growth potential. So that is how I would view lump sum and SIP. So very clearly, if the choice is between lump sum and SIP, given a market view, and particularly now also, I would say go for lump sum.
सर, इसमें मेरा थोड़ा सा पर्सनल ओपिनियन थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट है, विच इज वेरी ओके, सबका डिफरेंट हो सकता है. सर, उस पर मैं आपका भी ओपिनियन चाहूंगा. सर, बेसिकली व्हाट आई पर्सनली फील इज, इंडियन इन्वेस्टर, उनको रिस्क से दिक्कत है ही नहीं कभी भी. मतलब आप बोलोगे ना कि एक जगह 10% रिटर्न आएगा, एक जगह 30% रिटर्न आएगा, दे आर रेडी फॉर 30% रिटर्न. वैसे देखा जाए ये भी रिस्क है. 10% की जगह आपको 30 मिल रहा है, 30 की जगह आपको 50 मिल रहा है, ये भी एक रिस्क का पार्ट हो जाता है. जो आपका टारगेटेड है उससे अगर आपको कुछ डिफरेंट मिल रहा है, दैट इज रिस्क. बट इंडियन इन्वेस्टर बाय नेचर, जितनी मेरी पर्सनल अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, दे आर लॉस अवर्स. दे कैन नॉट सी देयर 1 लाख पोर्टफोलियो गोइंग टू 99,000 और मे बी 95,000. फिर उनको थोड़ी टेंशन होगी कि यार तुमने ये नहीं बताया था कि नेगेटिव हो सकता है. तो आई पर्सनली फील सर, लमसम उस समय बहुत बेटर रहता है जब मार्केट में हिम्मत की रिक्वायरमेंट हो, जब मार्केट के पिछले 2-3 साल के रिटर्न्स खराब हो, बिकॉज चाहे इक्विटी मार्केट हो चाहे कोई सा भी मार्केट हो, फ्लक्चुएशंस तो करेगा। क्या सर अभी इस समय जब ऑलरेडी पिछले 1 साल के, 2 साल के, 5 साल के रिटर्न्स बहुत अच्छे दिख रहे हैं, मार्केट की वैल्यूएशंस काफी कंपैरेटिवली हाई है एज कंपेयर टू पहले जितनी 6 महीने पहले या 1 साल पहले थी, आज के दिन पे जब सब लोग, वैसे बोला जाए ना, अगर मैं किसी को बोलूंगा लमसम इन्वेस्टमेंट करो, एवरीवन विल बी रेडी, क्योंकि उनके पास्ट रिटर्न्स बहुत अच्छे हो रखे हैं। पास्ट को देख के जस्ट लुकिंग एट दी पास्ट रिटर्न्स हम लोग लमसम करने के लिए भी रेडी हो जाएंगे। क्या इज इट रियली द गुड टाइम टू गो फॉर लमसम?
See, I agree with one point that you mentioned, Anand. That is this: that first and foremost is the risk appetite, right? So you use the word loss aversion. So if the investor's mindset is that one is the return expectation, the other thing is somewhat I don't have appetite for loss in the interim, also in the short term, also. So I don't have the stomach for the volatility. So I did tell you that over 3 years there can be a possibility that the first year can be quite bad, and especially when markets are at a high level, relatively speaking, valuations are, the chances of that kind of an experience is high. So if you are concerned about that, I would completely agree with you. That's a starting point. Then you would be better off making SIP kind of returns, and there I would agree with you that from a relative perspective, yes, markets are not as cheap as it was, let's say, 6 months back or 1 year back with hindsight. So you can be a little more cautious. Maybe it calls for some kind of SIP kind of spread out kind of investment mode and stuff like that. Although the market view and other thing is a completely different thing. Somebody can argue saying that look, even though the last 1 year, let's say, small cap has gone up by 50%, even now 3-year return on small cap is only 6% absolute. So 2018 was bad, 19 was bad. It gave negative returns. It's just that now from a low base of February, March, we've come back to 50%. So it looks optically high. Therefore, so I'm not getting into that part. That will be a lot of conjecture and different perspectives. But I agree with you that the first and foremost starting point is the nature of investors differ, right? So if you have 100 investors, your investors are listening to you, 20 of them would be a particular type, 30 others could be different types. So there is no one solution for everyone. It depends on their perspectives, their risk appetite, their own personal setting, and stuff like that. But both have their own advantages and shortcomings as well. So you would be the best judge, obviously. So
Investors
not a one. Yeah, correct.
अरुण सर, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दिस कंप्लीट कॉन्वर्सेशन, और हमेशा हमारे लिए रेडी रहने के लिए, इन्वेस्ट आज फॉर कल की कंप्लीट टीम को, कंप्लीट फैमिली को अपनी नॉलेज से हमेशा एनलाइटन करने के लिए। थैंक यू सो मच सर।
Thank you, Anand, and hope your listeners also benefit from this. Looking forward to more such interactions. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, sir. Even I learned a lot. I'm very sure हम सभी को इसमें बहुत कुछ लर्निंग मिलने वाली है। Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.